Let's open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of St. Paul Park regular council meeting for July 20th, 2026. This meeting is being recorded on True Lens Community Media. You can view city meetings live and replay it on cable channel 799. Meetings are also live streamed and archived on the City of St. Paul Park's YouTube channel. First item on the agenda this evening, we are going to be recognizing Marathon Petroleum, the refinery that shares our town with us and has always been great partners, for grant that they are so graciously giving us for EMS. So I'm going to step down here and maybe meet Eric, and we'll go from there, and then we're going to get some pictures.
Perfect.
I suppose we could have just used this, but
Whichever way you want to do it.
I'll just start off by thanking you on behalf of myself and our city for this grant. This money is going to be used, for those of you that do not know, to train up all of our public safety personnel, police and fire, to the level of EMS. This is a big deal for our city and for our partnering and neighboring cities. I believe using these funds in this way is going to help save lives. It's a big thing, and for us, and like I said, for the communities around us. Personally, as long as I've been involved in this city, I would like to say that I've always felt that Marathon's been a great partner. And since you've come on board, you've been a great partner, and the communication between you and your team has just been wonderful.
Appreciate that.
I've lived through several iterations of the refinery and ownership, and I believe right now is one of the best forms of communication we've had with our city and your management team. So thank you for that. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'll just say a few quick words. My name is Eric Bonard. I'm the general manager at the refinery. Just want to say we appreciate the opportunity to be able to be involved in our community. It's one of our core values is to make sure that we are good partners in the communities in which we operate. Public safety is obviously something that's very important to us, and so we're thrilled to be able to partner with you guys, provide these funds to help get that training folks need, so that hopefully we can have a positive impact on the St. Paul Park community. So thank you, appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you. So at this time, let's get some pictures. I believe you have some of your management staff. You have Kristen Hoopmacher. I always want to say Hoopmacher, but it's Hoopmaker. And John Hemmingson, Hemmingson.
Right.
You got me screwed up. John Wright Jr. And for those of you who don't know, John Wright Sr. is a former fire chief of ours, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
And then Heather and I'm.
Yep, Heather.
Someday I gotta get your name.
Oh, it's okay.
And I would like the entire council to come up here for this picture also. Yep, do it over here. And you guys too, please.
I'm the best you can. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, and 3, zoom, 3. Each one of those should have turned off.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Well, that was me.
What do you want to do with these?
Plus, I like it, make us feel good.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks.
So you guys moving out and getting trained? Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming, thank you for everything,
Oh,
appreciate
thank you.
it. Thank you.
That was a 130 turn around.
All right.
Yay, thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for that brief interruption, and I think that's a wonderful thing for our city and for our staff. I think it's going to be a good thing. So on to item number 2, we have the minutes. Number A is approval of the minutes of the June 15th, 2026 regular council meeting and waive the reading of the same.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the council workshop minutes, summary of May 12th, 2026, and waive the reading of the same.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the minutes of the July 15th special council meeting and waive the reading of the same.
So moved.
Second.
I don't think you can.
Oh,
You weren't there.
Second.
you're right.
I have a
I was there.
motion from Councilmember Swenson and a second from Councilmember Whitbred-Hemmingson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0-2. All right, items from the public. Do we have anybody?
We have one person.
I don't believe we've taken care of that. He's,
Oh, he's.
yep, Bruce, you're out, correct? Yeah. All right. We got that settled. All right. Item number 4, we have a presentation from Smith SCHAFER.
We're not here.
Mayor, council, how many of you from out of town? We're actually waiting on the presenter for the audit. So Dawn is quite familiar with it. She could start us off, and then when staff come, if you're comfortable with that, or okay, then yeah, they were scheduled to be here and confirmed to be here. They're just not here yet.
All right, well, we can move on, and if they show up, if they show up. If not, we will continue them at the next council meeting.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right. Consent agenda, item number 5. We are going to approve paying the bills through July 21st, acknowledging the receipt of the commission minutes from the Public Works and Parks and Recreation. Adopt Resolution 1781, expressing appreciation for donations. We will be removing City Administrator Hugo McPhee from his probationary status. Adopting Resolution 1782 for gambling premises permit, Heritage Days Lions Club, liquor license. We need a mixer at the water tower for Broadway, paying for the Lions Levy Bridge, Geislinger and Sons getting paid some more money for 3rd Street. We have an pollinator pathway grants of $8,000 for Abdallah Park, good work there. And approving the Washington County Records Management System Joint Powers Agreement Amendment. And that is it this evening for the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Franke. I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as listed. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, Councilman
If I may.
Conrad. Or-
did I get in under the bell?
All right, Councilmember Swenson, go ahead. I heard you first, because you're the loudest.
Don't be so excited. I just want to state that the administrative committee is excited to have Hugo McPhee here. He performed exemplary during his probationary period, and we're excited to take him off.
Thank you, Councilmember Swenson. Councilmember Conrad?
I have a few things, if I may. Just quickly, on the Public Works Commission, I didn't have an opportunity to read that, but I was wondering where is the right place to discuss, maybe it's here, maybe it's not, about the acceptance or denial of my application for being on that commission.
I think that would probably be best set for probably maybe next Monday during the work session.
Okay.
This is just approving the minutes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we can discuss those issues then.
Okay. And then the repair services and mixer replacement. I'm just trying to understand what that is. I kind of read a little bit of brief, but that it does something with mixings for temperatures, especially in the winter, so that it doesn't freeze. Is this a routine replacement? What causes it to be replaced? How many years does something like that last?
Well, not seeing Tony here. Hugo?
Mayor, council member Conrad, I can speak to that. So periodically, we have inspections of the water tower and other infrastructure. And 4 or 5 years ago, this was identified as something that we should repair. The impeller at the base of the unit was damaged from an ice up in previous years. As a matter of routine, staff had another inspection crew come through, and it again came up as a recommendation for it to be, there's some touch-up painting on the interior, as well as fixing that auger device. So staff is recommending that that comes forward, and it's been delayed somewhat, no impact to water quality, et cetera. But it's been identified twice now to be repaired. So hence the presentation coming forward. But it's been a known repair item, and staff has seen fit that we should get it fixed before this winter season.
I was just wondering, is there a projected lifespan of something like that we would look forward to possible replacements cyclically? Or if it's just at random when it pops up?
Yeah, I don't have the life cycle of that particular component, but I know the tower gets inspected every 3 years, and so
Okay,
that's usually when we find out if there's a defect or what have you.
thank you.
This has been since 1990. So
The one that's in there now?
36 years, yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's a good lifespan.
yeah.
one other thing was, the bridge, I'd heard something about the cement isn't right. What does that entail?
Oh, on the payment thing? Sure, you can, I could, but go ahead.
Mayor, Councilmember Conrad. So the concrete pad that the new pedestrian bridge rests on does not appear to conform to its original specifications. So WSB is working with that subcontractor to correct that. And so that's not currently asked for reimbursement yet until that gets vetted. So there appears to be an anomaly with how the concrete was poured and the bridge is resting on that. So staff are working with the contractor, subcontractor to correct that.
Okay. It came up in the Lions meeting last week, that's why I said I'd just see what I could find out. And then one other thing is kind of my personal thing, but I too would like to really acknowledge your presence here over a year. I think we as a city have been able to do a lot of stuff. You mentioned that, but I hear it all the time at the car show. People compliment what's gone on. They credit Scott. So our city's made, huge strides, and I think that you being kind of one of the first hires with this transition, I think you're very creditable for that. Thank you.
Agree.
Thank you. I have a lot of relatives in the city. I do not, but kind words from council. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, before Hugo's head gets any bigger,
All right.
let's move on. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right, reports from the council. Councilmember Haggerty.
Yeah, so Public Works Commission, our next, let's see, we still need one more person. And our next meeting is September 1st at 3 p.m., so we have changed the time. It was previously at 6, I believe, but we're going to do 3 p.m. So look forward to seeing everybody there.
Thank you, Councilmember Haggerty. Councilmember Swenson.
Thank you, Mayor Franke. I'm here to talk about public safety today.
That's
The
what
commission.
it says.
That's what it says. Commission does not meet again until September 3rd at 6 o'clock here at City Chambers. I don't believe we have an open seat. I think we're full. So,
All right.
but that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Swenson. Councilmember Conrad, Planning.
The last planning commission meeting was canceled due to lack of agenda. Their next scheduled meeting is August 10th here at City Hall.
All right, and while I have you, why don't you give us a quick update on Heritage Days and how that's going?
Okay. Heritage Days is moving ahead quite well. We're into the final levels of getting things booked, scheduled, and whatnot. And it's August 14th and 15th is the event up at Heritage Park. August 16th, I know that there will be tractor pull down on Broadway between 5th and 3rd, starting at 5th, going towards 3rd, and that will be from 3 to 6 p.m. I'm not sure at this time, any other events that are or aren't going on. I think that'd be an independent sponsorship of any of the businesses down on Broadway. Everything's full speed ahead. We still have the Heritage Days meat raffles at Park Place, Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30. Anybody that's interested, they're $2 a ticket and for a $30 pack of meat. It's been going pretty well. There will be car show there on Saturday, the 15th, following the parade, as well as Touch a Truck. And all the events will be listed on Heritage Days Facebook page and websites.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Conrad. Councilmember Whitbred-Hemmingson.
Our next event is movie night in the park, August 3rd at dusk. This is for our Heritage Days. Movie will be decided. We have about a little over 100 pounds donated to basic needs from our community garden. That is going absolutely marvelous. Want to thank everybody that's been helping while some of us go on vacation. And I am not sure when our next meeting is going to be because our next meeting night is on Night to Unite, which, Mayor, you can tell more about that.
All right,
Thank
is that
you.
it?
That's it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitbred-Hemmingson. First off, I too would like to congratulate Hugo. He has been doing a great job, great communicator, great personality, been a tremendous leader for the staff around here, and a definite role model. So appreciate all the great work you've been doing. The administrative committee will be doing down the road sooner than later an official wrap up. What's the word I'm looking for, Jeff? What's the word?
I'm not in your brain tonight.
I don't know.
apologize.
I don't know. Anyways, a review, if you might say. We're gonna continue with that process, something that we hadn't done. I'm sure this one will be harmless. But I would ask that the council, if anybody has any comments or questions, pros, cons, negatives, positives, however big or however small, email them to me by, let's say, I don't know, August 1st, so within the next week or so, so we can get something together and put him out of his misery quicker than later. Also, yes, as Councilmember Whitbred-Hemmingson alluded to, Tuesday, August 4th, Night to Unite, great event put on by all of our public safety. The community market will also be on that night. All of this will be taking place at Heritage Park, so we will be shifting the community market for that evening from City Hall here up to Night to Unite to add to the festivities. I'm sure there will be a lot of great things as usual. So we hope to see you all out there. It's always a good time. Hopefully we get the helicopter back. That is just an awesome sight to see. But more to be determined. So that's all that I have this evening. Anybody have anything else this evening? And do we have?
We have the auditors here.
We have the auditors here?
Mayor, Council, we are ready to go with the auditor's report.
All right. So since we are now all done, we will move back to the presentation from SCHAFER. If you feel free to come up to the dais over here. Do we have her set up over there?
D-
2022's on there.
zip drive?
I don't.
Is it a Macintosh or is it a PC or a laptop? Because I think I have a zip drive in my
I
office.
emailed it to Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, then you can
but
just,
can they put it on the?
oh, sure. Let-
Or do they have electronic copies?
They do.
Okay,
But I just don't know how to get it on.
got it.
Technical difficulties, everyone.
Yeah.
You hear me? I can't. Oh, there you are.
Should just be a cord over here. That's a Mac, isn't it? What output do you have? USB-C.
Oh, it is
Oh,
Windows.
it's actually a Surface.
Do you have an adapter?
I
by
have an
chance?
adapter in my office.
HDMI to, because then we could just plug it in, because it'd go right from there, from the laptop cable, I could switch it.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'll leave it to your expertise.
Not here, fun.
Oh, yeah. A little hotter than I would like it to be.
I see movement.
So just the PDF for the slides? Yeah.
You know, this does mean you're just gonna have to talk fast.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
After all this, I gotta bring some razzle dazzle for you.
Right? The tap dance is looking good, though.
Perfect.
I drove down. We're on family vacation week up there. Kids are over there.
No, I don't know how to make it bigger though.
This is a PDF, right?
Correct. There you go. There you
There
go.
we go.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Okay, perfect. You'll go back then? Sorry. All right, we're good to go.
All right, we're good.
So after all that,
Could we
thank
please
you.
get your name?
Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Jill Schultz. I'm a partner with Cohn Resnick. We're an accounting firm in Minneapolis. I know, Mayor, you said something about Smith Schaefer. So Smith Schaefer merged with Cohn Resnick in January. Smith Schaefer has done the city audit for a number of years. I've been here, seen a lot of familiar faces. So we merged with Cohn Resnick in January. Like I said, all the same people worked on the job. It's just a new name. So hopefully that's all that your team saw was a change in the name and nothing else. But I'm just going to do a high-level overview very quickly to kind of go over the financial statements. If you've been through this before, it's a lot of trends, kind of where we are coming from, where we're going to. So first, just getting into the audit. So our job as auditors is to provide reasonable assurance that the city's financial statements are materially correct. So that's kind of a lot of lingo. But basically, we issued what's called an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion, meaning we didn't have any doubt that the financial statements were materially correct as presented. There's also a portion of the financial statements called management's discussion and analysis. That's kind of where the city can kind of do their, if they want to talk about bonding or, upcoming highlights for 2026. Hugo and Dawn both went over that before this was issued as well, so that kind of had their stamp of approval on it. Also, as part of the audit, we look at various areas that the state auditor requires us to look at as far as deposits, conflicts of interest, things like that in the legal compliance area. So we didn't have any issues, any findings noted with that for this year. So before we get into the numbers, just a reminder, the city has several different types of funds. The governmental funds will be the general fund, special revenue funds, debt service funds, and capital project funds. And then on the enterprise side, we have both water and sewer. So then looking at some of the governmental revenues, we'll start with property taxes. So you can see in 2025, property tax revenue increased by about 7%. This is the same increase in 2024. Overall, that was about a third of total governmental revenue for the year for 2025. You can see it's grown from about $2.3 million in 2021 to just over $3 million in 2025. And again, that's actual cash collected, so that's not necessarily the levy, but that was cash brought in the door. So it could be delinquent taxes from prior years, doesn't necessarily include all of 2025 if there are additional delinquent taxes. So that is just cash brought in for property taxes during the year. The next slide then is the LGA, the local government aid. St. Paul Park is a little unique. It's the only city that I work with that receives LGA, so it's a nice bump, obviously, to your bank accounts. You can see in 2025 it was just shy of $800,000, so pretty similar to what it was the year before. That's obviously all done through a calculation by the state, but again, it is a nice boost for St. Paul Park to get that money. The next slide then looks at governmental fund revenues in total. So this one, the blue bar on the left side is the property taxes. So obviously a very big number every year. You'll see the spike in 2025 in the yellow bar, that's other government revenue. So anything that you get from the state, from the county, from other cities goes into that bucket. So the big increase in this year was the MnDOT grants and other revenue that we got for the 3rd Street reconstruction project. So that's that big bump there. Usually it's a little more obvious that the property taxes is a big part of the total, but for 2025 it was a lot of the state revenue there too. Then looking at some of the expenses, so general government expenditures, so that's kind of the day-to-day cost of running the city. as if it were a business. So it's administration, assessing, accounting services, planning, attorney, just anything that kind of, like I said, goes into the running of the government. So in 2025 is about $843,000, which is about 20%, 21% of the total expenditures for the year. You can see quite an increase in 2025, over 100 grand higher than the year before. A lot of that was due to some of the turnover in the administration department, both with the administrator and the finance director leaving, so a lot of those kind of final wrap-up payments, but also recruiting and advertising and all those things for the replacements. So that's a lot of what went into that increase there. Public safety then, obviously fire, the police department, but also building inspections and animal control are in there as well. St. Paul Park also is unique in that they have obviously their own police department, so this is a big number for St. Paul Park. Just shy of $2 million in 2025, almost half of the expenditures for the year. Pretty similar to what it was last year, just a little 3% increase. Then highways and streets, so that's our public works, streets, street cleaning, those kinds of things, stormwater management, all included in there. So that was also about 21% of the total expenditures. So you can see a drop there from 24 to 25. In 2023 and 2024, we're starting to ramp up the 3rd Street construction project, and so there was a lot of kind of those planning costs in those years. In 2025, when the construction really got going, those costs went into the capital project fund, and so they were shown differently. These are kind of just the general planning, architecture, things like that. Finally then, the Parks and Rec Department. Again, that's primarily personnel costs, so salaries, benefits, insurance, things of that nature. So about $373,000 in 2025, $304,000 last year in 2024. So almost a 20% increase there. A lot of that had to do, again, with some of the construction on the pedestrian bridge at Lions Levy Park. So that was a lot of that increase. Then looking at our expenditures in total, again, you can see the dark blue bar on the left is the general government. Obviously, the kind of royal blue in the middle is the public safety. So you can kind of see how each department makes up the total for the city. The next slide is the same information, just in pie form. So again, it's maybe a little easier to see with the different wedges how much each department is of the city's total. From an audit perspective, we like to see these kind of similar from year to year. Obviously, they're going to fluctuate based on construction projects and things of that nature. But for the most part, these are pretty similar from year to year, and that's what we like to see, not big swings in spending in any one area. Then looking at the reserves for the city, the reserves obviously are very similar to, you think of your own savings account at home. The reasons that you have a savings account to be able to have a rainy day fund for unexpected expenditures. It's even more important in a city where you get so many big chunks of money. You get your big property taxes in July, and so you want to be able to weather that, be able to spread that out, but also have money in the first 6 months. And so having that reserve kind of lets you spread out those funds a little bit more. And then looking at the reserves as a percentage of the expenditures. So the orange bar is the general fund unassigned fund balance. So basically what the general fund has available for operational spending. And then the blue bar is the general fund expenditures. So you can see on there for 2025 is about 45%. The general fund balance was about 45% of the expenditures, meaning at the end of the year, we basically had enough in our fund balance to cover half of next year's expenditures. That's right in the range that the auditor recommends. The state auditor recommends 35 to 50%. You can see in prior years, it's kind of been in that range also. There were some larger transfers done out of the general fund to kind of get to that number, but that's good because then those transfers go into, the capital project funds to allow you to pay for more capital projects independently, not have to issue new bonds, anything like that. Also, can go into the debt service fund to make some of those payments as well. Looking at the debt service then, the first slide then looks at our debt balances. So again, the orange bar is our bonds. The smaller blue bar is the public facilities note. So you can see the totals on there for 2025. But obviously you can see those balances coming down on the slide on the graph. And then the next slide looks at the 5-year requirements. So over the next 5 years, what we're going to pay on those bonds and notes. Again, obviously those numbers are coming down. That is all the principal and interest. So in 2026, we're going to pay just over 700 grand in principal and interest on those obligations. And as of right now, the city is scheduled to be debt-free by 2035. So obviously, if you issue new debt, that will change, but at this point, 10 years. So that's pretty impressive. Looking then at some of the capital projects. So this slide, it's a little funny to me, the bars are so different in size, but the list of our capital expenditure projects in 2025 seems very small, but they're obviously all very big projects. You know, new squad car, new public works vehicle, and then the 3rd Street improvement project is obviously the bulk of it. So that's kind of again, the big blue bar is all the infrastructure and improvements that go along with the 3rd Street project. And then looking at the enterprise funds, so the water and sewer funds. So these are the funds where the city really is running like a business, right? Taxpayers and residents are being charged for what they're using. They're not, you know, it's not based on property tax value or anything like that. They are charged for their usage. So in the next slide, we'll see kind of, again, those trends in those funds. Just a note there that the revenues are, you know, the actual charges for services, but then also connection fees and special assessment income on the water and sewer side. The expenses, again, are personnel costs, utilities, the wastewater disposal, obviously the big one in the sewer fund, and then depreciation is a big one in the water fund. Then we do have some other income in those funds. So the rental income that we get from the cell towers, from those cell phone companies is in these funds. Again, any intergovernmental revenue we receive is in other revenue, and then investment earnings. So overall, looking at our water fund, you can see year over year, the first bar on the far left, the orange bar is our operating revenue. So again, those charges for what we're charging people for their usage. The operating expenses is the blue bar. So obviously, in 23 and 24, much larger than the revenue there, leading to an operating loss. The middle kind of royal blue. Then the yellow is that other income, so kind of the rental income, investment earnings, things to kind of help make up for that operating loss to get to either a net loss or net income before any transfers from other funds. So again, keep in mind the dark blue bar, the expenses includes depreciation in the water fund, so on any kind of equipment that the water fund holds. In 2025, that number was $450,000. So if we take that out because it's an expense, but it's not cash that we're paying, we actually had an operating income. So the middle blue bar becomes income of about 300 grand, and our net income comes up from 170 to about 620,000. So this looks maybe a little concerning, but again, that depreciation, the biggest expense, is not a cash outflow for the city. So just keep that in mind in looking at this. Sewer fund is a little bit more balanced. The revenue, the expenses are a little more in line with each other. There's not as much equipment on the sewer side, and so the depreciation isn't quite as impactful there. So again, you can see the revenue and expenses. We have smaller operating income and losses and net income and losses each year in the sewer fund, and then finally looking at them in total, again, kind of levels out that water fund a little bit, especially in the current year. So in summary, again, we gave an unmodified audit opinion. We did not find any legal compliance exceptions in 2025. Our unassigned general fund balance at the end of the year was about $1.6 million, or 45% of our expenditures. And at the end of the year, we had $3.9 million of debt outstanding. Any questions or concerns that I can address while I'm here? Jeff, I see you looking. You always have questions. Nothing? Okay.
Cindy always.
Just, yeah. Thank you, Councilmember Swenson.
There.
Jill, on the water and sewer fund, so it
Yes.
looks like we're operating little to no income there. We are not, so if I were a citizen looking in, we're not making money. We're probably losing a little bit of money on our water and sewer funds,
Yeah, it's.
even though we had that transfer, but
Yep. And it is, so depreciation, as I mentioned, it's not a cash outflow.
Right.
But it is, our equipment's getting older, and so we'll need to replace it eventually, and so it is still a cost to the city, and so it's a little bit hard to look at it, just in this graph. You know, this is more of just a kind of high level. But like I said, there are replacement costs that come with some of that equipment as well, so
and we're not banking very much at all.
I don't believe so.
Yes. Okay. I just that's kind of was the gist of what I got here, but just checking. Councilmember
Mr.
Swenson.
Mayor, may I ask a question or two?
Councilmember Swenson, be my guest.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice our continuity with you, having you for the
Yes.
years that we've had.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just have a couple of questions. The management letter, I haven't really seen, I know you said there aren't any legal compliance issues, but is there any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that we need to be aware of?
Nothing new. I believe we maybe don't. On a lot of our cities that we work with, we include segregation of duties as a significant deficiency, basically because of the size of the accounting team. You know,
Right.
it's hard to separate
It's like
things.
separation,
Yeah.
dues separation.
We might not actually include that on St. Paul Park. I didn't look at that this morning. I think because previously they kind of had things set up so that there was a lot more segregation of duties. And so with the new kind of overhaul of the finance team, that would be something we look at obviously next year to make sure those things are still in place. So,
No disagreements with management?
nope.
Okay. And like you were saying that with the new team in place, and normally, you know, if you're sitting on a normal board, this is when they leave, but we have to ask these questions with the cameras on and them here.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah, I will say for as much change as you had and as we had, I think it went pretty seamless from our side. I know we're up against the deadline, but hopefully it was a seamless process on the city side as well. Like I said, again, just with the change that we've both had, I think it went as well as could be expected.
okay, well, thank you, Cindy. Again, it's great to have you back. I just have one more question, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could explain it to the board one more time, or for the first time. We saw that, you know, the state auditor requests between 35 and 50 or, and states, and we understand the 35% because you want to have liquidity. We get that. But can you explain to us again why they say 50% as a ceiling?
I think just to be able to have those things available for other projects. Again, there was a large number of transfers or a large amount of transfers out of the general fund, so things that come into that fund, still go to pay for other things of the city, and so it's allowing that fund to look a little bit more. You don't want to look at it and see, oh, there's all this money in the fund.
Overtaxing.
Exactly.
That's what I was getting to.
Yes.
I didn't want to say that.
I didn't
but
either.
yes.
I didn't want to say it either. But yes, because those things are still paying for the city's operations. They're just paying for debt payments and capital projects. And, you had a $3.5 million capital project in 2025 that you didn't have to issue debt for. And that's great. That's phenomenal. That's the goal. Because of some of those things, and because you had a healthy reserve, because you had the MnDOT funding. And so all those things still go into running the city. It just doesn't all happen in the general fund.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Yes.
If I could. Would you say you see more commonality of cities saving for things like roads, water, sewer throughout their longevity of planning? Especially if you have an aged system or roads and you don't have any, foredrawn savings, what do you typically see there?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a couple of times that St. Paul Park is unique, and I think that you are in some ways, but in some ways you're like every other city that we work with in Minnesota. You know, it's all the same challenges that you're coming across, you know, aging infrastructure, both roads and equipment, and finding sometimes creative ways to help solve those problems. Again, some of the state funding is helpful, obviously, to not have to issue debt. I think it's a concern for all cities, so it's not just St. Paul Park. Getting the LGA obviously helps a lot too in that. You know, that's money that a lot of our cities that we work with, like I mentioned, don't get. A lot of cities in this area don't get. So I think a lot of cities are doing exactly what you guys are doing as far as, you know, your capital plans and things of that nature. You're looking 10, 20, 30 years down the road for those replacements that will be needed.
And do you see anything due to the high cost of, say, like fire equipment, fire trucks? I mean, at roughly $1 million a vehicle, what do cities have a plan in? Do you see them having a plan in place for saving or having some kind of allowance for those types of things?
Not really. We had one city, I feel like every city we worked with has bought a new fire truck in the last 5 years. One city issued debt for their fire truck, but it was $1 million, to your point, and they're smaller than St. Paul Park, and so that's a big number for them. I haven't seen people start to budget or anything, but given the cost, I think it's important. I think it also, we've seen that it takes a long time to get that fire truck. I think the manufacturers are behind. I know for a while it was, you know, importing all the parts and the steel and everything. But we've still seen it be 2 to 3 years to get a new fire truck. So that helps obviously with the budget process, but it's still coming up with $1 million plus to be able to pay for that. And it's obviously needed, to have the best equipment in those departments, so,
Okay. All right, thank you.
yeah.
Anything else? All right,
All
thank you,
right,
Jill.
thank you all.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else this evening? Nothing further before this council. This meeting's adjourned.